This is AFTV VIP, the official web app with members-only content, has no ads and a live in-game match center. The bias predictor, it has daily polls and the AFTV 11 selector. Just one click away. Hi and welcome along to AFTV. And don't forget, you can get that app, the AFTV Mobi app. The link is in the description. Click onto that. As I said, ad-free videos. There's lots of features on there, like the team selector. Great features on there. Make sure you check it out. The link is in the description. We are here tonight to talk all things Arsenal and all things football. And with me is DT. How you doing, bro? Hey, where are you?
What about me, man?
Is that your house or is that a green screen?
No, it's a green screen, man.
Is that a green screen?
No, it's my yard, isn't it?
That ain't your house, man. That's a green screen. I can
Yeah,
see.
No,
I can see how you're outlined. I can see how you're outlined. Put your hand up like that.
See?
Green screen. Sorry.
Nah, man. Don't hate.
All right, I'll tell you what you do, yeah? Go behind you and you see that candle behind you?
Yeah.
Take that candle and bring it back to here. If you do that, I'll give you a $5.
Hold on a minute.
You think you're so funny, don't you?
I'm hilarious.
Oh my God, man. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm all right. Man.
How's the lockdown treating you?
Yeah, it's all right. As you can see, I've been redecorating my house, and yeah, that's good. I'm just fiddling around with loads of things at the moment. I've got nothing better to do, so yeah, I'm just fiddling around. So I've got myself
this green screen thing now, yeah?
Yeah, man, green screen, man.
So what are you saying? You're turning all Mark Goldbridge on me.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna like break my green screen when we lose and stuff, man. It's just like I'm changing a few things around, and the problem is like I've got about 2 or 3 different sets, and I'm using all of them. So I just use a green screen, and I got all of them on one place, so I create more space as well. So yeah, man, just trying a few new little things out. Do you know what I mean?
There's nothing wrong with that, man. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, listen, I thought we'd talk tonight about, you see the title of the video, it says Free SALIBA. Yeah. William Saliba, who we bought, not this season, the season before, for nearly 30 million pounds. Right? When we bought him, we sent him out back on loan to St. Etienne, which at the time, a lot of us were like, yeah, we need this guy right now. I mean, why are we sending him out on loan? He went out on loan back to St. Etienne, was playing, got injured, was out for a little while, but came back towards the end of the season. Then he came, funny enough, is that he came back to us and St. Etienne was saying, can we just have him back? Because they'd reached the cup final in France.
Yeah, that's right.
And we refused. We said, no, he ain't coming back. He's our player now.
Yeah. Since
he's come and joined us, he hasn't played one game. You know, he's only played friendlies. He played the game against MK Dons. We all thought, hey, you know what, this guy pre-season, we all thought, hey, he looked decent in that game. He played another game last night. He played Arsenal played against Gillingham in the was it the Papa John's Cup or something like that, right? But he's not yet played for the Arsenal first team. There's been a lot of talk even before the season started that we were gonna send him out on loan again. And there was a lot of talk. It didn't happen. Again, he didn't go out on loan. He stayed with us. Since then, there's been a lot of talk saying that he might go out on loan again in January. He's not in the Europa League squad. And a lot of fans are getting very frustrated about this whole situation because they're like, we look across at Leicester and Fofana, who was his partner at St. Etienne, more or less the same age. I think he's 19, Fofana as well. Fofana's playing week in, week out and playing very, very well. As a matter of fact, he's been excellent. That Fofana. They paid the same amount of money, £30 million.
Yeah.
is going on? Why have we? I mean, it's not like, I know we've got loads and loads of centre backs, but we're not exactly blessed in that area, are we? And
No,
he
we
can't get
can't.
a game.
No, we can't. Do you know what? I was watching the game against Gillingham last night, and on a side note to that, quickly, the irony is that Trey Coyle goes and scores against us, and he's an Arsenal player.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, that could only ever happen to us, couldn't it? But I thought his performance looked really, really good. And I know it is the under-23s and it is against Gillingham, etc., etc. But he just looks very composed. He just looks like a proper centre-back. And when you see some of the calamitous performances that we've had from centre-backs over recent times, it makes you ask the question as to, is he not better than them? Surely he's better. You know what I mean? And it's like, I look at Rob Holding's performance, for example, against Aston Villa, and that was shambolic. We're all laughing about that video that's being shared about where he looks like, you know, on the startup screen of Mortal Kombat, and he's like looking ready to, you pick your character who you're going to fight, and he's just like this, just backwards and forwards, and it's like,
that's a perfect description of it as well.
That's what it was. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, come on, surely he's better than what we've got, or deserves an opportunity, man. He deserves an opportunity to play in this team. And he didn't cost peanuts. He's not a kid that's come through the academy where you can take your time to send him on loan. He's come with huge expectations. And when we're seeing some of the performances we're seeing, why can he not get a game? Somebody tell me why he can't get a game.
I don't know. I mean, like you said, we do have a lot of centre backs at the moment, right? Let's just go through them. You know what I mean? Obviously, you've got Gabriel, you've got Mustafi, Pablo Mari. Remember, he's been injured. He's still got him. You've got David Luiz, Rob Holding. Callum Chambers, who also played yesterday, didn't he? He's making a comeback. That's Socrates. That's 7. Mavropanos is out on loan. That's 8. Saliba, that's 9 centre-backs we've got. 9. Right? Now, Socrates is not playing anyway. And as I said, Mavropanos is out on loan. When you look at the players that are in the same sort of position, sort of right-sided centre backs, that's Rob Holding, Socrates, and Mustafi. I look at those 3. I mean, Mustafi, I saw today where his dad's saying, "Yeah, you know what? He'll probably leave at the end of the season," and like I don't even know why there's this big deal about trying to give him any extra time anyway, right? Socrates, we wanted out. He definitely is going to be going. So that leaves Rob Holding. Chambers, I'm sure they're going to be looking to move Chambers on as well. If this guy is for the future, why don't we play him? I don't see what's wrong with playing him, even if we play him and then we see that he's not good enough. But I just don't understand it. I know there was talk that, you know, he had a bereavement in his family as well.
Yeah.
And he's found that difficult. I don't know. It's really, really strange situation because I'm with you. We're not blessed with great centre backs.
No, we're not. You name 9 centre backs, and probably only one of them's good.
Yeah, this guy here, Gummy says, "How's the best up and coming centre back has become less than average at Arsenal?" You know,
this is the thing. We can have a debate, but I can't answer the question because I don't know. I, like any other Arsenal fan, want to see William Saliba. I'm desperate to see him. And I would rather William Saliba comes in the side and makes the odd mistake and learns by that. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, than just sitting there, just wasting away, playing under 23s in the Papa John's Trophy. Come on now. Like the Papa John's Trophy. Blood Brothers was better than that. I mean, Come on, man. It's like, give him an opportunity, man. Fans want to see him. He can't be that bad. Are you telling me that he's worse than what we've got and what we've seen?
This guy says Gabriel speaks French. Saliba speaks French. The communication wouldn't be an issue. Good centre-back pairings always have a great understanding and communication amongst each other, right? So again, you know, Gabriel, look, yeah, I know Gabriel's a bit older, but Gabriel's come in and he's really settled. And I was really looking forward to seeing that partnership. This guy 6,000,007 says Fofana versus Saliba is like Kanate versus Upamecano. Debate a few years back. Last season, Fofana had a better season, but Saliba should be given games. They're two very talented centre backs, right? Mm-hmm. And Fofana is playing brilliantly for Leicester. And our guys playing, like you said, in the... Yeah, I mean, why can't he even play in the Europa League? That's another thing that I can't understand. Why didn't he, you know, play in the Europa League?
Because he wasn't registered.
Yeah, I know. Why?
Again, we can have the debate, but I ain't got an answer for you. I genuinely haven't. I don't know why he was not put within the squad. I think we've got about 4 goalkeepers in the Europa League squad. So it's like, let's be real about it. You're probably only ever going to use 2 unless you have an unbelievable injury crisis. But I just don't get it. I really don't. Arteta himself has admitted he's made a mistake in not including him in the Europa League squad. And maybe that's what he needed, to play those matches, to show Mikel Arteta that he can play and handle, you know, playing in the first team. And then he would have got his opportunities in the Premier League. But at the moment, he isn't going to get his opportunities in the Premier League because he's not playing any football of any high standard to warrant coming in, unless there was just an unbelievable amount of injuries and we were left with no other choice. Yeah, that seems to be the way it is at the moment. And that's so frustrating because I would rather he comes into the side ahead of Rob Holding, ahead of Mustafi. All these... Mustafi, for me, should never play for Arsenal again. Full stop.
Why?
If he's made his intentions clear that he's leaving at the end of the season and he won't sign a new contract, then thank you, bye-bye. Why play a player that doesn't want to be here? Yeah, Saliba's meant to be the future, so he should be ahead of Mustafi already, because Saliba's meant to be the future and what we're looking to, you know, have as part of our mainstay for the next few years. Mustafi's not going to be here at the end of the season. So cut ties now. Put him in the Papa John's trophy. He's not going to be here. If he's not going to be here and he's made his intentions clear and his dad's running around telling everyone the same thing as well and that, then so be it. All right, cool. You're not part of our future plans, so why should you be part of our immediate plans? Bye-bye. See you later.
Guys, get your questions in about on this subject. Really want to hear from you. Been hearing from you, seeing a lot of your comments already. Gunners Malaya says Arteta is being cautious with Saliba. You know how the media works. If he makes some mistakes that cause us points, he will definitely get slaughtered. But that's sometimes that's how you learn.
It's the same with any player. Fofana could have gone in at Leicester and made a mistake, and he would have got slaughtered. I suppose the high profile of being at a club the size of Arsenal might magnify things a little bit more, and that's no disrespect to Leicester, but it's part of football, man. He's got to learn.
Newman says, why was Mustafi offered a new contract? Makes me think Edu and Arteta are senile. That's a bit harsh. Are senile.
I think I know why. And it was just so that they could get some money back for him.
You reckon it's that?
Yeah, so that he didn't end up going for free, because they would have still got a bit of money for him. So I think they were covering their bases, but it hasn't worked out, and that's not the way it was meant to be. So, and like I just explained, for me, Mustafi doesn't even get near our team anymore.
Wayne Sage says we have 5 goalkeepers in our squad, in our Premier League squad, but we can't register Saliba or the social media manager. Seems to me Arteta has been overthinking everything. There's been a bit of a criticism of Mikel Arteta about overthinking, you know what I mean? Overcomplicating things.
Yeah. Well,
anything in that, you reckon?
I think that he doesn't want to leave any stone unturned, but there comes a point where you can overcomplicate things. Yeah. And it's looking that way now. That I think he needs to use these next 2 weeks to try and, look at what's been going right and what's been going wrong, and let the handbrake off a bit now, because we're over that period for me where you get that grace as a new manager. We've progressed. We've started to show what we can do, but it feels like we're stagnating at the moment and we're kind of just plodding along, where I feel that if he lets the players, release the handbrake, you can really start to express ourselves and use the attacking threat that we do have within our team. We've got unbelievable attacking players, but yet we're carrying on like we got no one.
Kirat Singh says, I love Mikel, but got to be real for a second. Look at the statistics. Look at the average positions and the signs of worrying. Saliba's exclusion is baffling. Very baffling. Shuja says, I just don't get it, Robbie. I think what will this do for the confidence of Saliba as well? Need to fix this as soon as possible. True. The confidence of the guy, he's come over here. He's probably thinking to himself, yeah, man, Arsenal, big move. He's told everyone, yeah, look out for me. And he can't get a game. And then no one's been kind of told the real reasons for it and stuff, or not. It's not clear to me the reason why he's not playing. So then people just start to, whether it's true or not, people start to think that there's something seriously wrong here,
Yeah.
And I don't know. It is very, very baffling to me at the moment. This whole Saliba situation. I just don't really understand it.
I don't think anyone does. I think it's a bit confusing to everybody. And, we hear Mikel talk about it and say that he hasn't had his transitional period and he's might be not ready and he wanted to go out on loan. But the question that we keep raising as Arsenal fans is like, well, look at what's in front of him. Is it any better? Honestly, that's the issue. It's not like we've got Virgil van Dijk in centre back, and you're going, well, there's a reason why he ain't getting ahead of him. There's a place up for grabs there, but he's not being given the opportunity to grab it.
Yeah. And as I said, there's been so many people. That's why I wanted to debate this, because over the past few days, there's been so many people saying exactly what this guy here is saying. Free Saliba. Why is Saliba not playing? And then this guy says free Saliba, free Pepe, free Ainsley, free Aubameyang. Right? Please, Lord, smack some sense into Arteta. I feel that, like you said, when you're talking about grace, I feel that it is sort of getting to that stage where there's not an out thing or nothing, but a lot of questions are starting to be asked about Mikel, innit? There's a few little things creeping in, and this guy Mohammed says, "Big up Robbie and DT. Mikel Arteta is still learning things about the squad, but these bumps will only make him even better. He's the manager for us. He's already proven it by winning 2 trophies." But I'm starting to see a lot of people starting to question certain things, and this word overthinking things is starting to come in more and more and more every time.
I see what they're saying. There's parts of it that I do agree with, but there's some parts that I feel are very reactionary, and it was never going to be plain sailing. We've already said that, and I do feel that there's some mischievous people out there as well that are stirring the pot. And
who's that?
Don't know, mate.
Who's stirring the pot?
Don't get me started, mate, because it won't be pretty. At the end of the day, people want to stir the pot. People want to sit there and talk about agendas. And I've noticed that they kind of all join forces now to stir that pot, and it ends up being a massive cauldron, and they're all sitting around it, you know, and it's leave it at that.
So what your message to, you know, let's moving this on a bit, because obviously we're talking about
Robbie, you've got a right to question when a manager does something that doesn't work. Every club within world football, you can ask Jurgen Klopp if something doesn't work, why it didn't work. Jurgen Klopp a few weeks ago changed his formation. I think it was the Man City game. He changed his formation around randomly, and it kind of caught City by surprise. Now, if they would have lost the game, you'd sit there and go, why did you change the formation? What was going on? What? But it ended up being an exciting game. They got a draw, and given their injuries and that as well, you'd probably go, yeah, you'll take that at the Etihad. So it's not something that really gets mentioned. But every manager is going to get questioned for the decisions they make. But there's certain people out there that are driven by Arsenal's failure to win games. It's as though some people out there actually want us to lose games, so it furthers their agenda and, you know, heightens their profile to get Mikel Arteta out. And that's what they want. I've seen people, when we win, make a couple of comments on social media about the performance. But then when we lose, it's like they're on repeat. You can't shut them up.
Kirat's got a good point here. He says, what do you think of what Pepe just came out and said? I feel for him. Do you guys think Kia inserted some shady clause of starting in Willian's contract? If so, then Edu needs to be questioned because he's represented by Kia. Also, Willian is 32. Now, did you see the comments from Pepe where basically on, as they always do, a lot of these players go over to another country, get questioned by another newspaper or publication, and it's almost like they forget that, you know, we'll be still reading that same stuff as well. Yeah. And basically, he came out and said he's not happy at being left on the bench. Now, do you look on it and just say to yourself, I'd expect my player to say that he's unhappy at being left on the bench? Or do you see anything in this where you're thinking, hey, is this the beginning of this man sort of saying, I want out?
When I look at the actual context of the quotes, it's not as bad as the headline may suggest. Like, I agree with what Pepe said in terms of he's not happy. He's asked about the question about his playing time, and he says that he's not happy sitting on the bench. No player would be happy sitting on the bench. He doesn't want to be a super sub. He wants to prove that he's good enough to start games. And I think that all he's doing is relaying what any footballer would be talking about if they were not first choice, that they're not happy. They want it to change, but it's down to them to make that change happen. And I think that obviously titles are very misleading. It's as though, you know, when you read the title, Pepe's turned around and says, yeah, I don't like the manager. I want out. I'm not playing, you know, but it's not like that. He's just expressing his opinion that, you know, he's been asked to do a job. So far, he's not getting the minutes, but he's going to keep working hard, and he wants to, you know, prove himself. Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I'm going to come back to that in a second. Just get this one for Henaz. He says, I think Mikel just doesn't rate him. I think he's talking about Saliba here, because he was part of the coaching staff that played Eric Garcia at City, who was less experienced than Saliba. I'm not sure how that crosses over into the Saliba argument, but you know, on that whole sort of Pepe thing, you know, and yeah, you're right. I saw the headlines and it did look like, you know, when you read the actual what he said, he wasn't tearing into Arteta or anything like how the headline suggested. But he clearly said, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with sitting on the bench. And you know, Wayne Sage says Pepe needs to get more game time. It's not time for Arteta out. Criticize when he gets things wrong, but relax. We have 30 more league games to play. There's also an agenda against Lacazette. but just going back to that, Pepe for me, I mean, I remember the last game. I was like, he played all right. You know, he's creating chances. He's improving, and then he's dropped again for Willian, who's not playing well. You know, if Willian was playing well, everybody would be saying, yeah, well, you know, but he's not. So that's why people are getting baffled and coming up with conspiracy theories about Kia Jarapjan and things like that. It's a weird one to see that he's not starting more games. And you know, I feel that he is very upset underneath.
Yeah, he probably is, to be honest. But he's played one Premier League game. He started one Premier League game, shall I say? And like you said, Willian, what's he done since he's been here? Nothing at all. Not a thing. Not a thing.
The first game he played well, but since then he hasn't done anything, has he?
Yeah. Henrik Mkhitaryan played well in his first game for us. Look how that ended.
Yeah.
It's like deja vu, isn't it? It's just one's got a better hairline.
Umar Khalid says Arteta has just one season to prove why he should stay, just like Emery. He got 5th and the Europa League final. Arteta needs to do better than this. You got no response to that.
No, it's like you've got to look at the context of everything. Unai Emery took us to 5th place, but he bottled the top 4.
Yeah, we should have got top 4.
Reality. This isn't like you know, Emery got us into 5th place and we were so unlucky to miss out on the Champions League. No, he messed it all up. Crystal Palace at home when he thought, oh, let's play Cole Jenkinson at right back and everything else. Clown. He's the reason we didn't get Champions League football. Then he took us to a European final and had us humiliated. We travelled halfway around the bloody world to go and watch us get slapped in Baku. Do you know what I mean? And then we go into the following season.
I was about to say, even despite that, he got the following season as well.
Yeah. And then the following season, we were an absolute shambles. Shambles. We were all over the place. It was very evident that he'd lost the dressing room. It was very evident that he didn't know what he was doing anymore. So you need to put context to this, because when you write it down and say 5th place Europa League final, you go, you know what? That's not a bad season, actually. Yeah, that's all right. But then you put context to it and you say, well, you got humiliated in the final when you should never have been humiliated. Remember, Mikel Arteta went up against Chelsea as well in his first final, and we humiliated them. We dominated that final and beat them comfortably. Didn't happen with us in Baku, did it? And we had near enough the same players. So what was the difference? And then we bottled top 4.
Yeah, I hear you on that. Hey, DT, pronounce this name. Pronounce that name and surname.
Abdullah Rahman.
Hey.
Go on, now you do it.
Abdullah Rahman.
You needed me to do it first.
No.
Now you do his surname.
Al Dahan.
Why are you asking me to do it then?
No, because I thought you might trip up.
Nah, man, I ain't tripping up.
Big up Abdullah Rahman, man. Big up, man. Big up. That he says, I hope Arteta softens his style or plays on the potential of the players, or through the style in which he plays, he gets the best out of players. Well, we wanted to like a manager that weren't going to mess around, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Even some of the man that's criticizing, they were saying, we want someone who's going to be, you know, you got it.
Yeah. And can I also just say to Abdullah Rahman as well, I hope you don't have your own name on your shirt. God, that must cost a fortune.
Arsenal will love him. Jamin says, I know he was poor in the weekend, but what have been your thoughts on El Neni this season overall? I think he's been excellent. He was poor. As soon as Partey went off, he just fell apart, didn't he? He was getting a bit bullied up in that midfield. But apart from that game, he's played well.
Yeah, he's done all right. But again, it's like you said, Partey went off and he fell apart.
It's partnerships, isn't it? It's partnership. Liverpool, Van Dijk's out. It's not the same. You know what I mean? So
I know that, but on a comparisons, type of way, when you have Petit and Vieira, when Vieira was missing because of numerous suspensions or whatever, Petit never went missing.
yeah, true. That's a different grade of player you're talking about there.
Yeah, I know that, but you get what I'm trying to say. That's kind of where you're kind of evaluating your levels, and you're saying, well, maybe he's not good enough then, because if you need him to play well, if he's next to someone, then what use is he if that someone's not there? Do you know what I mean? So, and we did turn around and say, I think I said it in my fan cam after the Manchester United game. I said that Partey gave El Neni the license to be the player that he was in that game. But you take Partey out and he turns back into Mohamed El Sideways.
No, I remember you saying I told you we signed an absolute gem.
It was sarcasm, mate. It was sarcasm, Robbie.
Yeah, it's sarcasm.
Listen, Robert, don't give me none of that, Robert. I'm not having any of it. It was sarcasm.
Sarcasm now, yeah?
It was sarcasm.
I told you we signed an absolute gem. Anyway, Zubi says, since you guys need a pure playmaker like Isco, you can't expect Aubameyang and Lacazette to get goals with no direct service. It's been a rumor that Isco's available. Would you go for him?
He feels like he's been around forever. How old is Isco now?
Isco, I think he's 28.
Jesus Christ. You know, when you see a player and he's been around for so long, you think they're about 35. But they're not. I don't know.
I like it. You know what? Isco's a brilliant player. I don't know. I think maybe 2 years ago is when we should have got him. But who's to say he couldn't still do... I mean, his quality is better than anything we got in that midfield area, you know what I mean, like creative-wise, isn't he?
Yeah. At the minute, yeah, definitely. Who are we to grumble in that sense? But, again, wages, fees, whatever it might be, his age, do we want to get younger and build for the future?
Yeah, all right. Yusuf says Martinelli on the left, Aubameyang down the middle, Pepe on the right. Makes sense when Martinelli again, there's a lot of pressure on Martinelli because everybody's looking at him as the saviour at the moment.
Yeah, I've noticed.
Who's the midfielder that we've been linked for that plays for Salzburg? Pronounce his name, DT. I know you're good on the pronunciations.
No, you do it, mate. Your turn.
No, you do that.
I've done the last one. It's your show, man.
Difficult name to pronounce. You know what? Anybody out there, before I say his name, I want to get it right, right? So somebody send me the correct pronunciation for I'm about to say his name, but I know I'm going to mess it up. So I want the proper pronunciation. But he's a good player. Creative midfielder.
Yeah, he is a good player.
Said, very, very young. That's what you're talking about, a young player for the future. And they're saying that, he'd be available for about 23 million.
Yeah, about really
cheaper than Aouar.
But I've been watching him in the Champions League, and he looks good.
He does look good. I've been watching him as well. I watched him a bit of him last season as well. He does look a good player.
Yeah.
Go on,
say his name.
Huh?
Go on, say his name.
All right, this guy's broken it down for me. That's not how he's spelled because it's SZ, isn't it? But he says Szoboszlai. Szoboszlai.
You know, this is going to be like...
All right, go on then. There's the name. You say it.
Dominic.
No, I had the surname. I know you come up with me about your Dominic.
Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai or Szoboszlai? This guy says it's Szoboszlai.
Szoboszlai, which is what I said.
You said Szoboszlai, didn't you?
No, I said Szoboszlai.
But he does look a decent player.
He does look decent. He does. And be interesting to see, we're also hearing from Ornstein today as well, saying that we're well into our plans for next summer and everything else. And I'm just like, don't want to hear it. Heard it a million times before. I want to worry about the now.
True. I'm going to come back to actually. Honcho's Pappy with a super chat. He says, football fans are fickle. We beat Manchester United at Old Trafford. Obviously, the loss was painful. But I trust the manager who's bought us silverware and has us competing again. Notice how volatile this season is. So he's kind of saying what you were saying, DT. I think you have got a point. There's been some people, like I've even had some people come at me, friends, nothing bad, but they've been like, Robbie, I told you. What did I tell you? You see. You know what I mean? Like they couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, where was that last week when we beat Manchester United? You, man, some of them men who were coming at me were like, hey, to be fair, done a great job. Yes. You can't just switch after one. If over the next few games it's the same result, I hear that. But it was one bad result.
Yeah.
Kirat as well with a super chat. He says, what do you think? Sorry, I've done that one already. Yeah, did that one already. So I just look on it and I say, what's the, some people are quick to jump on it.
People will be. I told you, Robbie, there's people out there that are very, very, very quick to jump on it. And yeah, I'm not going to say no more.
Keep yourself.
You might get cancelled, Robbie. If I open my mouth, Jesus Christ.
The signature says Arteta has created a spine. Gabriel, Partey, Aubameyang needed for over a decade. Patience is needed with Arteta.
Exactly. Let's have some patience. This is the thing. So many people are reacting just so like off the cuff. Like Arteta has effectively been in the job 6 months. What do you expect him to have done in the space of 6 months? More than what he's done already.
I guess.
Please, somebody enlighten me. Yes, things.
The style.
Yeah,
is a better style of football.
Yeah, but Robbie, the one issue that we've had a brilliant style of football, but yet we've been wide open at the back, and we have been for years. All right, we just won at Manchester United last week. When was the last time we won at a team in the top 6? Why is one of the reasons for that? Because we're wide open, because we don't know how to defend. We don't know how to set up with a structure. So Mikel's come in and said, you know what, let's come away from the expansive football a bit. Let's get a solid foundation and base in place. And then we work from there. And we're now at a point where I feel we need to let the handbrake off.
100%.
That's the only thing that we can sit there and question, because at the end of the day, since Mikel Arteta's been here, let's look at the reality, okay? Let's take away the COVID time. He's been in the managerial job for 6 months. He's won us the FA Cup, beating Sheffield United away, beating Manchester City, beating Chelsea in the final. The league position, it was always going to be difficult anyway when he took over and what was going on and how poor it was anyway. So we kind of took that one on the chin. He's tied Aubameyang down to a new contract, Martinelli to a new contract, Saka to a new contract. We've broken this hoodoo of winning away against one of the top 6 sides, beating Manchester United. We've become more competitive in games. We went to Anfield and we're not getting rolled over 5 or 6. Same with Manchester City, although it was a chance missed, in my opinion. It wasn't 5 or 6. It was 1-0. There's so many things, that you can look at as being positive. But everyone wants to pick up the one little negative. Oh, yeah, but I dread to think what goes on in their home lives.
DT, according to Huncho Pappy, alluding to a certain Arsenal YouTuber and his anti-Arsenal brigade.
No idea what you're on about, mate. How you doing, Huncho Pappy? Nice to see you. Thanks for the super chat.
You know how I've been trying to draw it out of him. Oh,
Ain't draw it out of me, man. Listen, I've got no time for these people in any way, shape, or form. So at the end of the day, it's like I told you, yeah, you can criticize, you can, make your comments, but some of the abuse and some of the names that I'm seeing our manager be called for no reason by so-called Arsenal fans that are actually ripping into him to the point where they're getting personal. This is not football related anymore. This is personal now. At the end of the day, and people can sit there all they want and talk about me and Arsene Wenger, this, that, the other. People have this myth that I wished death on Arsene Wenger when videos, because I was there when somebody said it in a thing it makes me culpable when I had nothing to do with it in any way, shape, or form, and I don't condone it. And it's like, at the end of the day, I wanted Arsene Wenger out. Yeah, I said things along the way that I regret, but I'm man enough to hold my hands up and say that I wished I'd never did that. But these people have no regret, no remorse, no self-respect, and won't turn around and just admit and just go along, you know, and just be normal. Like, I just don't get it. I honestly don't get it, man. Grow up, seriously, man. Do you know what I mean? Admit your mistakes, man. A bigger man can admit their mistakes. I've admitted mine. If you can admit,
Hadi says he needs time, but it's worrying that we've scored fewer goals than 15 teams. Arteta's stubborn in that he has his undroppables like ALHB and Willian.
Yeah, well, listen, I said this to you the other day when we done a show, and I said that the last time we had this amount of goals at this point in a season was in 1998 under Arsene Wenger, who a lot of people seem to think we played Harlem Globetrotter football every single year and scored 100+ goals. Even under Arsene Wenger, 2 years into his reign, struggled at the start of the season. Do you want to know what happened at the end of that season? Yeah, I think we all know. At the end of the day, something happens, things click, things, you know, sometimes you need to take a whack to realize. We spoke about Chelsea under Antonio Conte. They came to the Emirates and got absolutely battered by us. 3-0 up by half time. We tore Chelsea a new one. And then at the end of that game, Conte ripped the scrapbook up, ripped the form book up, all his, you know, what he wanted and everything, went free at the back, changed everything around, bang. Chelsea were a completely different team. They went on to win the Premier League. And I'm not saying we're going to go on and win the Premier League. I'm just saying that if we had never beaten Chelsea that day the way we did, Conte would never have changed things. So things happen for a reason.
Benny says Arteta has seen his defence destroyed over and over and over again. Now he's fixed that. You really want him to tear it up again? He says, trust Arteta. But this guy, Rising Baller, he says, tapas pulis. That's quite good. That's quite good. Oh, come on. You must say that's a good one.
No.
That is funny.
No. At the end of the day, he's got a Liverpool badge next to his name. So he's a Liverpool fan. So at the end of the day, this is the thing. Yeah, Liverpool were in the exact same position as Arsenal 5 years ago. First season that Klopp took over, finished 8th that season. They lost 2 finals that year, Europa League final. They lost the final to Unai Emery. Yeah, so they were in the same position as us. They should know more than anyone to not take the piss when they know that they're in a rebuilding process. It took them 30 years to win a league title from their last. So don't mock other people and other clubs when they're going through the same transitional page and them same issues that you just went through only a few years ago. Behave yourself, man.
Lewis says, what do you think about Tierney's performance? Do you think this could carry on into further games? Maybe his mind's off the game, like troubles at home or something.
Kieran Tierney doesn't have any problems at home because he lives by himself and he's a very, very simple guy that just likes to play the PlayStation, go to training, come home, microwave meal, job done. And that's no disrespect.
You know what? During this international break, he needs to go Sports Direct or JD and go and buy a new pair of boots.
Well, maybe
the amount of times I see that guy slipping over, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I don't think he needs to go to any of them stores. I think he just needs to contact his boot supplier and say, listen, just sort me out. Do you know what I mean? Definitely. Maybe Tesco can do him a pair of boots.
Safin says we need to be patient with Arteta. However, some of his team selections have been questionable. I think sometimes he tries too much. This has been, you know, everybody's saying the same thing about him. Like, you're overthinking. Just keep it simple. You know.
Yeah, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, this guy's not too happy with you, DT. He says, DT, you're a disgrace. Lampard is a championship manager. Then what will you say about Arteta? Obviously a Chelsea fan.
Shut up.
You can't keep telling you, man. You can't.
Put him back on the screen. Put him back on the screen.
He disappeared off the screen now, right?
Man, look at Harry Potter. Man look like Harry Potter and he's trying to talk to me. Behave yourself, man. Was that a super chat?
No, it was just. I think it was just a regular.
No, I don't want to hear none of that, man. He don't even pay to talk shit. Move yourself, man.
You can't treat the people like that, man.
I represent myself and I do what I want. And we're live. You can't cut me off, so that's it.
Brandon says, DT, what do you make about Aubameyang's poor form? Could it be that the club has made promises for him before the contract is signed, before he signed his contract, and not stuck to them?
No, he's out of position. He's struggling. We need to see him more central. He's being asked to do a different job. But Aubameyang's Aubameyang. He can still score the goals, but we just need to start utilising him properly. I'm not worried about Aubameyang in any way, shape, or form. Honest to God, I'm not.
You've got to start scoring some goals soon, though.
Yeah, definitely.
Military Gooner TV says the system is holding our players back.
I can see that, especially at home, and we play against low blocks. But again, it just refers back to the same point, which is Arteta's got to let the handbrake off now.
Joel B says, I agree with this guy must be, you're right, Joel. He says, I agree with DT. These impatient fans are acting more like Spurs fans when they talk about our club. The amount of hate they give our manager and players is disgusting. So you got someone agreeing with you there.
Got loads of people that agree with me.
This guy says Arteta out.
Yeah, pronounce his name.
No, I'm not. I can't pronounce that one. This guy says on a serious note, take me back, says on a serious note, DT, would you play Niles instead of Bellerin as he's flexible and can play in many places?
As long as he performs, because when Maitland-Niles has been playing over the last few games, he's looked really poor. You know, but you know my thoughts on Bellerin. He has a couple of good games and then he just turns back into what annoys me more and more. And he ain't getting in right back in any other team in the Premier League that are going to be challenging for titles and Champions League places. Let's be real about it. You know, he ain't getting in Man City's team. And Kyle Walker's not the greatest anymore. He ain't getting in Liverpool's above Trent. He won't even get in Liverpool's team now ahead of Trent, and he's injured. That says it all. Do you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, would he even get ahead of Doherty now at Spurs? No.
To be fair, he's been playing well this season. Obviously, he had a terrible game against Aston Villa, but he has actually been playing all right, hasn't he? So
he said, you know, he has a couple of good games, but then that old thing comes back. And you know, how many years have I spoke to you about Hector not being able to cross a ball? It ain't new. I've been saying it for years. Do you know what I mean? And it's poor. And then he's defending and getting caught out of position. And the way he got bodied off by Grealish, man. I said to you, the only time I've ever seen that kind of reaction is when you're in a Zorb. And then big, massive, round bubble balls. And they bounce into you and you just go, bang, you're gone. That's what it was like. That was it. It was like he was in his own social distancing bubble. Boing, see you later.
Mansour says, is Saliba going to be another player where Arsenal will let him go and he'll have a successful career like Gnabry? Is it personal with Saliba or is it issues with Arsenal? The thing is with this Saliba thing, we pay £30 million or we're going to end up paying £30 million for him and they can't just discard him. So there must be a reason for why they're doing what they're doing. That's the only thing I look on it and say, because they pay £30 million for him. So it's not like they pay £5 million and they're like, actually, we bought a bit of a duck. It's 30 million quid. He's got to work. You know what I mean?
He has to. He has to. And at the end of the day, the whole Gnabry thing, let's look at the reality here. When we got rid of Gnabry, we knew what a talent he was, but was he one of these players where it just wasn't happening? He'd been at Arsenal a long time. He was suffering from injuries. He went out on loan at West Brom. And as far as we were aware, he couldn't even make it at West Brom. So when he came back, I feel we were right to get rid of him.
Well, actually,
that's re-sign him. That was it. We actually tried giving him a new contract.
Tried to give him a new deal, but he didn't. Yeah. He wanted to play, so he went. So it weren't like Arsenal got rid of him; they wanted to keep him.
Yeah.
Stoyman says, "Shout out to Robbie and DT for providing so much amazing free content. If I wasn't unemployed, I'd gladly spend 5 to 10 quid to support you. Listen, bro, you ain't got to spend no money to support us. Respect you." You know what I mean? And we don't just read super chats. We try to get through as many comments as possible. Stoyman, respect to you, mate. Much love. Sam says, if Arteta insists on playing Willian, he should play as a number 10 with Saka, Aubameyang and Pepe in front of him in a 4-3-3, though I'd rather Willock. Right?
I said this to you the other day, didn't I? I said, if you're going to play Willian. I said this to you, didn't I? I said, if you're going to play Willian, play him in the 10.
Umar says Bellerin is playing against the Netherlands at the moment. Can't be that bad, can he? He's playing for Spain.
Well, they must have a lot of injuries at the minute then.
Although this guy, Yao, he says about Bellerin, he seems a little bit too cocky. He thinks he's Philip Lahm. I was actually saying that the other day, that's my criticism of Bellerin, is that, is it a criticism? I don't know if this is him, but he has a profile of one of the top players, because he's isn't he? I don't know if it's because of a lot of the off-field things he does and that, but he doesn't quite live up to that on the pitch, and that's what he's got to get right. He's got to get that, he's got to get that balance right. So
not good enough for me.
Mink Croydon Guna says Bellerin just looks awkward on the ball. He used to be fast and in better shape. Right, so
it always is. Look, for me, yeah, I've got no problem with how people want to express themselves or anything, but with Bellerin, it always feels to me like he's on the pitch, and it's like a fashion show to him. Like the way of describing it is, now you see him with his shirt tucked in. Now his shorts are always pulled up to show his tattoos on his thighs. It feels more like he's on a catwalk than a football pitch.
Yeah, but there's a lot of players that, well, you're not allowed to.
Yeah, and a lot of those players perform, Robbie. So maybe get back to basics. Go and put some mud on you. Do you know what I mean? Go and get mud on the boots and all the rest of it, or whatever the saying is. But it's just like, I just feel that it's all too. It's just the performances are not living up to it. I wouldn't care what Hector eats, what he looks like, what he wears. Nothing if he was performing on the pitch. Nobody would care. Aubameyang drives around in gold cars. Aubameyang wears some of the most outlandish, brightest, craziest clothes you've ever seen. Nobody cares. He has the weirdest haircuts, patterns in it, blonde streaks, you name it. Nobody says a word because he's always performed on the pitch, because he scored goals. He's performed. So nobody cares. Nobody cares when he's got a new trim. Nobody says anything.
At the moment, they might start picking those things out very soon if he don't.
There you go. And then you might start to see what the core of it actually is that some people just don't, will pick on people for other things outside of football because they believe that that's what's hindering their performances. And it does seem to me, I've got no problem with what Hector Bellerin does. If he wants to save the world, go for it. If he wants to plant 1 million trees, go and plant them. If he wants to be a vegan, be a vegan. Do all of these things. But first and foremost, remember, you're a footballer. Your job, your profession is to play football. And to play football for Arsenal Football Club, and you're getting paid very, very handsomely to do it, over 100 grand a week. I'm not seeing performances that warrant 100 grand a week wages.
Okay. Surendra says, a genuine question. Arsene Wenger won the FA Cup and I think the Community Shield in 2014, same as Arteta. We wanted him to go after that because we were not competing, the same as now. Why should Arteta get more leeway, DT?
Do I even need to explain this? Really and truthfully, man.
Don't diss the guy. He did pay a super chat. Sam Broughton says, shout out from Arsenal Scotland supporters. I've met those guys before. They're nice guys, man. The Arsenal, always see them when we play Newcastle in particular. All the content getting me through days at work. 2 signings that could transform this team. He wants 2 signings that could transform this team, DT.
We need an attacking midfielder. If we had someone like an OR, and I would still be tempted to bring in Louis Sahar, Wilfred Sahar, Louis Sahar. Jesus, he retired a long time ago. I mean, Wilfred Sahar. Yeah, Wilfred Sahar. I'd still be tempted. Our attacking threat would be so good.
Me, Awar. And I still was saying the other day, I'm still not too sure about our defense, man. I'd still like possibly a top quality right back.
That's the area that I would.
Top quality right back. And also, I still think we could do it like a backup striker who's different to the strikers we've got, like a big guy. You know what I mean? A guy that you can, like, if it's not going well, like the other day, you can bring him on, you can whip balls into the box, he can get his head on it. You know what I mean? A big guy with presence that, he's not going to be your starting player, but he's going to be just a guy that, like that guy Calvert-Lewin at Everton. I'm not saying him because obviously he wouldn't play a second fit, but that type of player. We're very good, very strong, hold up. I'd like to see that as an alternate to what we've got so that we can mix it up sometimes because, I see like Eddie and Ketty will come off the bench and I'm like, Eddie's very similar to all the other guys. So,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But right back, if you remember, I wanted Hakimi.
Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, and he's an excellent player.
Yeah, and Madrid sold him. And Madrid sold him.
Went to Inter, innit? Inter Milan.
Went to Inter Milan. Madrid sold him. Everyone said, no, Madrid won't sell him. Madrid won't sell him. I said, yeah, they will.
40, I think it's about 40 million.
Peanuts, really.
Thiago Silva is 36, Ibra is 39, and we're complaining that Willian is too old for a 3-year contract. I'd take any big name player any day. They got to perform now when they come in. They've got to perform when they come in, and at the moment, Willian is not performing.
No. Do you know what? Do you know what I wanted to say as well? Off topic. Did you see that video from the other day that I sent you? That I tagged you in.
Which one?
The one from the studio at the end of the game.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that my mic was still connected, and I didn't even realize it picked it up. But it was your face. It was your face. Because you know what? I know that face because you're live. So in reality, you want to turn around and be like, DT, you're disgusting, man. What are you doing? But you were just like, the look. It was the Samir Nasri look.
Yeah, you're lucky you didn't get that. Half Splendid is saying, yeah, I mean, I've been getting the Willian Ziyech thing. This guy's saying Tierney is better than Chilwell, DT. Did you say?
He is. Yeah, he is. Next time, get your money out and spend it on a super chat.
So was that an argument you had with Chelsea fans?
I have argument with Chelsea fans all the time.
So you think he's better than Chilwell?
All day.
He's not at the moment, he's not.
Couldn't care less. He's better than Chilwell.
I like Tierney. I mean, I wouldn't be, he's not been bad this season. The last game up, but you got to remember he's been played out of position at the moment as well. He's having to be playing this as a third centre back that interchanges around, and I don't really like that, man. I want to see him playing in his position as a left back. Chilwell is playing in his position where he likes to play. One thing at Chilwell, does score goals though.
Yeah, but listen, Tierney would have had quite a few assists this season if we'd actually taken his chances.
Yeah, that's true. Thousand Memories says, don't you think we're all being a wee bit petty, nitpicking on Bellerin? DT, Cedric has a decent crossing in, by the way. And what's up with Xhaka? So you're nitpicking a bit.
No, I just want good players.
Sammy Rochford says Chilwell is 10 times the player of Tierney is. No way is Tierney better. Get out, DT.
Yeah, look at his profile picture. You can tell he don't know how to play football. Be quiet, man.
Hey, yo, but I keep telling you, man.
Man's jumping for the ball. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Listen, man, behave yourself, man. Mackenzie says, how about Alexander Mitrovic? I remember I suggested this one last year. I got slated, man.
Yeah, you said it a couple of weeks ago.
As a guy that can come off the bench, why not? Adam says we need a prime Giroud as backup to the boss the goal area. Yeah, that's sailed. That's sailed. Gonna get a few more. There's a lot of it. The Chilwell thing. It looks like they're getting on your case now. You've taken the Ziyech thing away from me because there's a lot of people. A lot of people getting at you from Chilwell. Huh?
Let them come. Let the Chelsea fans come. Let them come. They weren't even supporting Chelsea 10 years ago. Fools.
Chelsea. Do you think Chelsea can win the title this year?
No.
Seriously, they've been playing some good stuff.
Great, well done. What do they want? A Blue Peter badge? Not happening.
So you don't think they got a chance because you slated off Lampard, but he's doing all right. No,
they'll find out soon enough. Don't worry.
Brandon says I disagree that Oba is playing out of position. Let's not forget he scored 20+ goals from the left-hand side last season. Nobody was complaining then. And Sam says, DT, what's going on with your league with the lockdown?
Nothing. We're in lockdown. Can't do anything. Just got to sit tight and wait. And we return at the start of December. So we're waiting for guidance from the league and everything. But obviously, what we're hearing and what Boris has said is that lockdown in this country will end on the 2nd of December. Everywhere will go into gradings. Everyone will get like a grade of where they are, like how it was a month or so ago, where you got certain hotspot areas might be a step 3 and certain areas might be a 1 and a 2 and stuff like that. So we're just waiting for a heads up as to what's going on. But from what I'm hearing, we should be playing a couple of games before Christmas, get going again, and then hopefully we can have a uninterrupted latter part to the season. We can win the league, get promoted, win another trophy, and all is well.
DG says, DT, you're actually embarrassing. Stop with the bias. Chelsea are up there for a reason. Name those teams you think will be fighting for the title. Wouldn't surprise me if you said Arsenal at the moment.
Liverpool, Man City.
Not Chelsea.
Nope.
Okay. Sam says if Arteta persists with 3 at the back, what would you make of Upamecano and Aouar into the team? Well, listen, those would be, I think I could speak for DT that those would be great additions. I'm sure he would say that. Mm-hmm. This guy says DT is the Boris Johnson of Arsenal fans. Why Boris Johnson? Is it? Oh, I get it now. They don't like Boris Johnson, do they?
Yeah, that's probably why. I mean,
this is an interesting one. Do you think Arteta can make Arsenal play attractive football ever? Even if he gets the players he wants.
Yeah.
Do you think that's in his DNA to play attractive football?
Yeah, I listen. You got to remember, before lockdown, some of the games we played, some of the football was really beautiful to see. We were playing some lovely football.
Yeah, what games are those?
There was loads before lockdown when we was playing out from.
Yeah,
you not remember some of the goals that we've created from the back, 22, 25, 30-man passes from back to front, ripping teams apart, pulling them all over the pitch. We did it to Liverpool. Yeah, we did it to Manchester City. We can do it.
Okay.
So sit there and say, well, what games? Oh, everyone's got short memory, including yourself there. I remember those goals. It wasn't.
No. You're talking about moments in a game. I'm talking about we have to really. It's been a while since we've been playing. I'm on about games where we play some free flowing. I ain't seen that for a while, man. Be real,
Robbie. Listen, you see that kind of football there, yeah. You see what we're saying in terms of those goals. Like, you don't just do that. That ain't just.
Those are great goals. Those were great goals, but I'm saying those are moments in games. I'm saying, when was the last time you saw some like free flowing football? You know, really like a really entertaining performance by Arsenal. Not for a very long time. Be real.
No, we've had some good performances. We have had some good performances along the way, even last season, before lockdown. We were playing some good football.
There, you know, you got a marriage proposal there.
Yeah.
Pierre said, "Will you marry him?"
How do you know it's a man?
Huh?
How do you know it's a man?
Because no woman fancies you, right? This guy says Arteta has always said in his Arteta's, listen, other as Ty would say, other men or women are available. Malhotra said Arteta has always said in his interviews that he wants to play attractive, ultra-attacking football, always.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't really seeing that at the moment, man, but be real. And as I said, I've seen moments in games, but I do long to see a really good free-flowing performance.
Hey, Robbie, can I ask you something as well? Because I've seen a question. It's a genuine question, though, but it's directed to you. And they've said, Uncle Robbie, can you cook corned beef live?
Live?
Yeah.
No, that would take too. You couldn't do that in a live video. I've done a video before doing you know, where I cooked corned beef and rice.
Old school.
Yeah, what do you mean, man? I mean, that's a. Although I don't really eat a lot of meat these days, man.
Nah, you're like, ain't it a plant-based diet or something that you're doing?
Mainly, yeah. I still eat meat. But I try to eat mainly a plant-based. Since this lockdown, I've been on it again. But when you're out and about, it's difficult, you know what I mean? So, and I still like a bit of meat, but I try not to eat it like every single day. I mean, it's the Bellerin in me, you know what I mean? I'm trying to. Bellerin's influencing me, man. He's influencing me. He'll change my diet.
Robbie gonna be our new right back. Jesus.
Right, listen, I'm gonna do a couple more comments. Stavros says it's like the Emery era. Excitement at first, then back to reality. We're playing even worse now. Chelsea fans, get out of here, he says. Chelsea had a much easier program and are just 3 points above us. As people forget that, you know, it's been quite a difficult start for Arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say, just let them keep running their mouth.
You know what it is? That last performance, man, was worrying.
Yeah.
Worrying.
I know that.
You see something like that and you're like, it kind of undone a lot of the good work that he's been doing, because you just looked on that and you're like, yo, that, I think you said it in your interview. He's like, that's the old Arsenal that I thought he kind of got rid of. And you looked at that performance, man, you go, he's still here.
But it's the first time. It's the first time it's happened under Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
And we've played everyone in the Premier League. We played every team that there is to play. Liverpool, Cities, Spurs, and whatever. And games we've lost up until then, I think there was a statistic the other week where we'd only lost by 1 goal in over 40 of our matches under Mikel Arteta. So he's clearly done some work and sorted out the defence. And that was the first time where I'd actually see us capitulate, where it looked like, oh no.
Down to the old Arsenal.
Yeah.
I was trying to get this guy's super chat up, but from the signature, he said, would you be able to give me a shout out, Robbie? Sports Hub X, a business based on fan engagement. So big up yourself for Sports Hub X. And one more before we go. I'm just trying to find one.
There's a great one here from Uno. He says, Crucial Robbie, sing for us.
I knew you picked that one out. And you see, you see how you stay, and I've been dodging a load of the ones where people are abusing you.
Hey, listen, man, come on now. Everyone, there's no better way to end the show with a sing song. Be a Crucial Robbie. Do you know what I mean?
Now, I've got this one. It says, Jeremy Swaz Lynch says, just so difficult watching again and knowing that we don't have any source of creativity that we can bring on, and we're struggling. No one is on the bench or on the pitch that can do that.
I love the name. That's why I'm laughing. Jeremy Swaz Lynch. Yeah, it is tough. It's again, it just refers back to what we're trying to say, that we need to let off the handbrake. We've got to let off that handbrake. Do you know what I mean? And if we can do that, then boy, it should get exciting.
Well, let's hope. DT, thank you very much for coming on tonight, mate. Appreciate it. You can put the green screen away now and go back to reality. Get out of here, man. The guy thinks he's funny. Move. Come out of this. Right? Big up DT. Yeah, I mean, as good as always, man. And I really, really enjoyed it tonight. Thank you for everybody who got involved in the show. Don't forget, we'll be back at 7 in the morning. At the moment, we are doing 2 live streams every single day. We know it's a lockdown, so we're trying to give you guys a chance to have your say. We'll be back in the morning at 10 o'clock. Sorry, I said 7. 10 o'clock in the morning, and then back again at 7 in the evening for AFTV News Daily. Please, please, please get involved. Get your comments in. We really, really appreciate it. And also check out the brand new AFTV Mobi. The link is in the description. Our mobile app is free. Get it. It's got some great features on it, and I think you really, really enjoy it. Free trial, should I say, for a month. So get involved in it right now. And we will be back tomorrow. Big up, DT.